Hi, this is Lou Covey with another report for New Tech Press, and this one talking about my experience at Embedded Systems Conference in San Jose this year. Embedded Systems Conference is one of my favorite shows, simply because, well, let's talk about it. All conferences have good content, pretty much. I don't find any that don't. They're good sessions, they're good speakers. That's what people go there for. What makes them different, to me, is the exhibition. And in recent years, most exhibitions are awful. ESC generally has been different because whenever I go to the exhibition, there are 4 or 5, maybe even up to as many as a dozen companies that have really interesting stuff going on. Not so much this year. I was really disappointed. I walked around the exhibition for 3 or 4 hours and looking at the exhibits, and they were all pretty much the same thing that they were the year before, and nothing was new. Until I ran across these guys called Nabto, and specifically a guy named Karsten Vuef, who is a sales director for them. Now, what attracted me to them is that there was no hyperbole on their materials. All they said was, simply connect. And then I saw the thing that was really interesting. It said that they could create a web server on small, cheap hardware with less than 1 megabyte of space on the device. Now, I'm not an engineer, but I understand that's a big deal. So I went and talked to him. So let's go ahead and talk to Karsten about this company, and I'll come back with a little bit more commentary.
I'm here with
Karsten Vuef from Nabto in Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're here with we're looking at his new product. So what is it we've got here?
It's a product that the vendor installed on the device, and what we call a device is an internet enabled. So it's a device that you hook on Ethernet, on Wi-Fi or GSM.
Okay.
And when the device is behind a firewall, we can access it from the outside because our software is on the device. It makes a hole through the firewall, and then the user can access the device from the outside.
Okay.
So the only thing the user has to do is to type the serial number .thevendorname.com, and then he will hit a DNS, which will direct to our base station, and then there will be established an encrypted tunnel to the product without setting up the firewall. So you have a tunnel here, and the user can access his device, and that provides the user with a higher value of the product because he can do remote control. If the device is very small, like an 8-bit CPU, it cannot carry a web server. And the user often wants a web server to control his device. So what we do is that on our base station, we place JPEGs, JavaScripts, anything else on there. And the only thing we get from out here is a temperature measurement or something else. So the web server running out here only needs less than a kilobyte to run a web server. And that's very interesting. Then the vendor can save a lot of money and place a smaller CPU on the device instead of an expensive CPU. So now you can provide the user with a web interface to the device.
Okay, could you use this to do live video?
Yes, yes. We make an encrypted tunnel, and that can also carry HDTV.
Okay.
Large signals.
So who are you working with now?
Polycom, Lego, Danfoss, Grundfos, large Danish companies. We're a Danish company. We only started like a year ago, so we started on our native market, and now we want to get out in the world. That's why we're here.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was Karsten Vuef of Nabto. And as I said, this is an interesting company. The ability to... Well, let me go back to this. There's an ad that's going on television now about a guy who's at a train station, and he looks at this girl on the train that he's not on. Okay, and he has this vision of getting married and having a child, and the child becomes a president of the United States, and so he immediately whips out his cell phone or something and changes his ticket so he can get on the train with this girl. And it's a great story, but the problem is that could never happen, not with the technology that exists today. Even when I was at ESC and I was trying to do Twitter, The problem was that I had to jump through hoops in order to get my device to be recognized on the system, and every time that my touch would go dead, I'd have to redo the whole thing. And to get through the firewalls and to deal with all this stuff, it took forever. But what this technology does is it actually opens up a basic hole in the firewall that a portable device can use to start doing live streaming, to get on the web, to make the statements that they need, to get involved with it and do it almost automatically. Now, for an engineer, this may seem to be a kind of a cool thing, but for a communicator like me, this is revolutionary because this makes it possible to actually do real reporting, to send out information live on the web in real time without having to deal with the technology issues around security. This doesn't make it any less secure, but it does create a very interesting way of being able to make that connection. And I'm seeing it that there are places that actually want to do this. There's a television station here in the Bay Area called KRON, and I've been noticing that they've been doing a lot of live reports on location by reporters using an iPhone and broadcasting over Skype. The quality isn't that great, but the thing is they don't have to send out a camera crew to cover this stuff. They just need to send out a reporter with a cell phone that has video capability. Nabto is being used in broadcast issues. It's also being used for new technology that's coming up, like Polycon. This can revolutionize conferencing, video conferencing, audio conferencing, any kind of conferencing whatsoever. So that's why I thought that Nabto, of all the companies that were at ESC this year, was the one that was the most interesting that I could find. And I suggest you check them out. So this has been Lou Covey with New Tech Press. Thanks for listening.